Kids were bringing guns to school, putting them in the locker, and there was never an issue. The issue is not the gun. We've experienced that. The issue is something else, right? And if you look at leftist ideology, it is a nihilistic ideology, which means that death is the ultimate honor.
I've never in my life heard that, ever. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Have you guys heard that before?
We're here with the table. If you would like to ask any question, you can ask it right now.
I was just asking what you feel about political violence as a whole, like broader than just the Charlie Kirk situation.
Sure. Yeah, we condemn all political violence.
Would you say that the root of it is our gun violence issues?
Not at all. No. So if you go back even 100 years, there's philosophers, leftist philosophers, who have written things that make the leftists do the violence. There's a guy named Herbert Marcuse. Have you ever heard of him? He was a father of cultural Marxism, and he wrote this paper called Repressive Tolerance. And what it says is that we are all Marxists. We want to bring about a Marxist world, but we can't do it if we have these pesky people on the right. So yes, we do believe in tolerating, but we will only tolerate people that agree with us.
So the whole premise of this video is that the left is very violent, presumably more violent than the right. This is a debate I've seen that's more new than old debates. I've not seen this type of debate on who's more violent, the left or the right, come up until 2025. I don't know. What do y'all think about this? Do you think the left is more violent than the right? Anyways, let's get into this joint.
Time being, we have to not give any tolerance to people who don't agree with us, get them out of the picture by any means necessary, and once they're gone, then we can have a perfect world. So people read stuff like that and they say, oh, look, this philosopher everyone talks about says that we don't have to tolerate the right, that we can do anything that we want to get them out of the picture. And that's where the violence comes from. It's from philosophy. Guns don't kill people. Guns are a tool. People kill people.
You're more likely to be killed with hands and feet than a firearm in America.
That is true, but I feel like that is a small group of people. I think I know a lot of people that are more left-leaning that aren't like, we need to kill people that disagree with us.
I agree, but the point is to indoctrinate them. The left wasn't a violent organization 30 years ago. They became violent very recently. It takes years of indoctrination to people to get them to go from we want peace all over the world to we want violence.
So you don't think guns are a part of the issue at all?
No, it's the ideology and the people who believe in that ideology. So if I'm just a normal guy, I'm not going to walk around just, killing people for no reason. There has to be a reason behind it. And a lot of times it's mental health issues. Like, America did away with asylums. We used to have asylums where we kept these crazy people, and now we let them loose on the streets to do whatever they want. Then they get hooked on these ideologies. They're already crazy. And then that gives them a reason to act out their fantasies of hurting people. And they don't really care if they live or die. Because a lot of times with school shootings, they ended up popping themselves after.
Yeah, if I could just interject at that one. I think our correlation between attaching gun violence to political intolerance is a relatively new phenomenon, right? Even with school shootings, like we've had guns in this country since the beginning, the inception. We weren't having these mass shooting problems up until the last, 50, 60 years, max, probably less.
And did you know that in the 60s and 70s, people would take the rifles to school, your guns to school, and you would put them in the locker, and then you would take them. Kids were bringing guns to school, putting them in the locker, and there was never an issue. The issue is not the guns. We've experienced that. The issue is something else, right? And if you look at leftist ideology, it is a nihilistic ideology, which means that death is the ultimate honor.
I've never in my life heard that, ever. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Have you guys heard that before? That leftist ideology is nihilistic ideology that honors death. I have not heard it. Don't get me wrong. I've heard some crazy things come from the left, but I haven't heard that. This is crazy to me. But I do want to hear her argument for what they're saying. I will say, the left did start cancel culture. That's something that really came from the leftist ideologies. Like, oh, you're canceled. You can't say this. You can't do that. That's something that's happened. People have lost their jobs and lost their livelihoods because they were boycotted by the left. And that, to me, is 100% leftist ideology. But when you get into violence and stuff, I don't know. And I don't know because I'm only just now hearing this argument in 2025. But let me know what y'all think.
Right, because what you have is, if you say the world is crap, right, the people that think conservatives are crap, they're bad people, we're all oppressed or oppressors, what's the ultimate way to release your oppressiveness? Is by dying. So it's gone from, and now you see it, right? It went from this step, and now they're just killing us. They're literally killing us now because they think that that's the ultimate way to get rid of us, and that's the issue.
I think you are jumping to the extreme of the extremes to generalize the whole left. You're saying they just want to...
Leftists.
Leftist ideology.
Okay. think that's leftist ideology.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not whether it's everyone. It's about whether there's a critical mass of people that are willing to go to such extremes. And that doesn't even require a majority. It doesn't even require a quarter. It could just require 1 to 3% of people who are willing to go to such extremes to do political violence.
I mean, look at Seattle, for example. My friend over here, Cam, he's been beat over the head, concussed, pepper sprayed, and kettled. People have hurt him for just reporting on these things in Seattle. And it's Antifa. They run the streets. Every weekend they have another protest, another riot, another crazy thing where the police are just, it's out of control. It's almost every weekend. And political violence doesn't just mean killing. I mean, it's also hurting people, beating up people just because of their ideology. Oh, you think differently than me? I'll hurt you. It's not good. And that's just an example of every weekend in America that the left is doing violence. And I don't believe that the right is doing that at all in America. Not to this extreme. Not to this extreme at all. January 6th, one person died on January 6th, and that was one of us.
But that's a lot of people of one ideology all agreeing that violence is going to be the answer.
The thing is, the right wing has condemned that violence, and the left wing has not condemned the violence that's happening right now in Portland.
I think a lot of
Portland and Seattle.
I think a lot of people have. I think you guys are focusing on the people that want to be more like, you know what, violence is the only way we can go. But I think you're ignoring a lot of people that are like, no, violence is.
So Maxine Waters actually said a couple of years ago, go find these Trump supporters, find the people that work in the Trump administration, harass them, beat them, hurt them, make for sure they do not feel comfortable in public. And that's an actual leftist figurehead, or left figurehead in Congress. If they're saying it's okay.
He is making good points. There are leftist figureheads who are saying things like this. And even the previous President Joe Biden, was condemning people who supported MAGA when he was in office. However, when it calls to violence, I can also say that, what's his name, Barack Obama, on Twitter, I remember he condemned the violence of Charlie Kirk specifically. I remember that. But I will also, give him credit to his point. There are leftist figureheads who are definitely pushing out to more harmful rhetoric towards conservative supporters and MAGA supporters specifically. You could say that there are people on the right who do the same thing, like Trump supporters who are doing the same exact thing for calling for violence. Like after Charlie Kirk passed away, I seen people saying that they're ready for a civil war on social media. The whole point that I'm getting at is that I don't know. I don't think leftists are inherently more violent than people on the right. But I don't think people on the right are just inherently violent either. So I don't know. What do y'all think about this? Because I never woke up and be like, oh, leftists are violent. I did say like they were like the cancel culture. They were a little coddled and crybaby sometimes when it comes to canceling. But violence has never really struck me. Well, I think humans can be violent. I'm not gonna hold you.
To harass these people, make it unsafe in public. Do you think that that's a problem?
I think that's a problem, but I think you're choosing people that, I don't even know who that, I don't think a lot of people are listening to her. I don't think a lot of people are.
A lot of people. She's on CNN all the time. Everyone's listening to her.
A lot of people are taking her advice. I think you're looking at the extreme.
Well, if a lot of, this is every weekend, though.
There's a lot of violence on the right, too. I don't think.
When was the last time a big mass thing happened besides January 6th?
I think you guys tend to support the genocide that's in Israel. That's a lot of violence, no?
Define genocide.
Killing a group of people purposely.
When was the last time that we had a president that wasn't owned by the nation of Israel? I'll just say
he's not owned by Israel. He in fact, he actually owns Israel.
That's violence. Right, that's political violence. You guys are supporting.
We're talking about American political violence. Okay, I can't even freaking talk specifically, but Israel is a completely different thing. It's urban warfare. It's a war zone, and they drop leaflets. They send out text messages. I don't want to get into Israel too much because we're trying to keep away from that topic to honor Charlie, because there's a lot of stuff on the right now of conspiracy theories. Yeah.
But to go back to your point about leftist violence, you have to understand this is not something new. This is not something that's randomly happening. It happened in China. It happened in Vietnam. It happened in Cuba, which I'm Cuban. So every single time the leftists take over, what do they want? Revolution. To what? Break down the status quo. How do they do that? Not through peace. They do it through revolution. Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, Stalin. Every single time, that's how they do it. And you know who they use? All of you. They use the university students. They use leftists. The authoritarians, the strongmen, convince the leftists to fight for them. It happened in Iran with the Ayatollah.
One point, I'll just say this. One point that he is, in my opinion, pretty much accurate, is that liberalism in general tends to lead to violence. because liberalism implies that you're liberating something from an authoritarian presence. So if you look at it like that, liberalism just tends to be more outright violent and more fighting in general. That's just what it is. If you look at any liberation, there was some violence. Whether or not they caused the violence, that's debatable. And whether or not liberals are just out here attacking people and being violent, I'll say that's a new narrative I've not heard before this year. And I'm not gonna lie, I've not heard this narrative before 2025. Maybe it's true. I need to look into it. But my whole thing is this: I don't think conservatives are violent by nature. I don't. I think they're regular people, and I think a lot of people who are on the left who vote liberal or who vote Democrat are regular people. I think we live in a two-party system, and half of the nation votes Democrat and half of the nation votes Republican. Half is conservative, or like almost half is liberal, almost half is conservative, and it flip-flops. And the majority of people on both sides are genuinely normal people. That's my thought. And it's crazy to say. Yes, it's normal people on the other side that you don't support. No, they're not just out here committing violence. But to his point, liberalism in general leads to some type of violence when you're looking at it from the premise of fighting an authoritarian figure.
Took over. It happened in Cuba with Castro. They get the leftists to disrupt and cause destabilization. Once they take power, they get rid of all of the leftists that helped them get in power. Mao Zedong created the Red Guard. When he got in power, he said, all universities canceled. I want you to get my book. It's called The Little Red Book. Put it in your pocket and go around. And if any teacher has spoken out against me, I want you to tell the communist commissar we're going to arrest him and kill them.
And I'm sure what he's saying has some truth to it. I don't know. I didn't look into this. I will just say this. I don't think the left is just out here committing violence. I don't think the right is either. Like, I don't think either are. I just think there are violent people. There are definitely violent beliefs in general. But I don't think half of the country is just inherently violent on either side of the spectrum. Y'all may disagree with me, and I'm not saying that no leftist is violent. Obviously, that's not true either. But come on, bro. Like, come on now. I think there's nuance on both sides. I really do. But anyways, I'm representing the LFR family. Make sure you subscribe at LFR JOJO. My name is LFR JOJO, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
This has been an exclusive on LFR Family. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. All right, see you next time. We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.